This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Women of Interest is your backstage pass to the stories behind the success.
Get ready to be inspired and empowered as we highlight the resilience, determination, and passion of women who embody the heart and the spirit of Texas.
All right, we are back, and we are doing our podcast with our second guest.
Yeah, you're only our second guest.
Oh,
so
wow.
The first couple Michelle and I did together just to introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we had Waco Mom's new business owner, Sarah Nelson, on last week.
Yes.
And then we really wanted you, and we're so glad your crazy schedule could work it out because we know you're a busy woman.
Very honored to have you here.
I've been a huge fan of both of your works for a very long time.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, I have been a huge fan. We've had you in the magazine before in 2017. 2017, I think you were a Woman of Interest. And you're on the City Council, of course, for people listening or watching. Miss Andrea Barefield. And in our People of
The
Waco
254
issue 254, she was on the cover, and the most beautiful photo.
It was so good.
And
Thank you
it
kindly.
is, we were just talking about it before we came on. Styled so beautifully.
Yeah,
and
I said, did your stylist get credit? And she said it was me.
Listen,
So you know how to put a fit together.
Thank you kindly.
You've been working.
Let's laugh because we were, when they said we're going to do the thing at the Bledsoe, because we were talking about, my baby, the STEAM Center, and the photographer who,
Brianne.
she, wonderful. And she was like, man, I wish we could get inside because the way the light is. I said, ooh. Hold on a minute.
Yes, it's fabulous.
Hold on a minute. And I called Derek and
Show the cameras.
Okay, sincerely, I did not know where this was taken.
Yeah.
that is inside the Bledsoe Miller.
Look at that.
It was a brilliant idea.
You
can see the Alico building.
Yeah.
It looks like it. You can see the river. It looks, it makes Waco what it is.
It is. It's one of my favorite. It's probably one of my favorite places to be. Now, hard places to have meetings if you're wanting to pay attention and focus because, the river is gorgeous. You see the runners, the ducks, all the things. But
it is a stunning, plus you look stunning.
Oh, bless your heart. Thank you kindly.
It was very hard when it came across the screen. And I told you this at a party. That we were at with the Texas Tribune, and that's another exciting thing going on with the Waco Foundation. But I said this could have been our cover.
Yeah, it has a great.
It has that presence,
element.
and when it came across the screen, I went, oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Frame it, put it in your house.
I would love to, please and thank you. As my fellow council member would say, we need that in high res.
Yes. We need that in high
Josh
res.
loves his high res
Yes.
photos.
I love Josh
I love
so
that.
much.
I know, he's a card.
So we have, and your husband has been featured as well. In our Waco chat. And so it's just an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
I also had the pleasure of hearing you speak. And it was at Christian Women's Job Corps. She was the speaker, the honorary speaker that day. And we brought our team from the Wacoan, and they were sitting at the table. And we didn't bring all of our team wasn't there that day. And we were in tears. We had wished we had videoed it and tape recorded it for a team meeting later because it was that good.
She brought the house down.
So, fun facts. So my mother,
who was former
mayor Mae Jackson.
Yes.
If you knew anything about my mama, you saw her walk up to a podium, you see papers in her hand and they'd be blank. You wouldn't know that, but they'd be absolutely blank.
Wow.
There'd be nothing on them. Most of the time, it's extemporaneous most of the time. That time, though, because keynotes and things like that, and especially as important as that topic was, as important as that crowd is, and intentional for the next generation or iteration of their students, I needed to make sure what I said made sense. So I did write that one. So if we need to recreate that one,
we need to recreate it.
Because I was like, that's one of the rare ones that
good.
I had.
You could do a workshop on that.
Oh.
Public speaking workshops on that speech. You need to, because it was that good for workplace motivation.
Thank you.
It was very good.
I've been in performing arts my life. I started when I was 3.5, 4 at with Dot Hogan's dance studio for our local Wacoans many years ago. She was my first dance instructor, Patricia Brown School of Dance, all the things. And then I got involved with portraits, which Pearl Beverly still leads in her work with Baylor. That was a group of young people. And now it's from babies to collegiates. And our mission was to paint pictures with words. Yesterday I was floored coming back, not yesterday, but Monday night, finding out about the passing of Nikki Giovanni, because that Nikki Giovanni her work is kind of a big part of the tapestry of my life. Because of performing her work and delivering her work and reading her work, kind of was a huge part of making who I am. The level of confidence, the level of pride, of realism, of identifying my true self, leaning into what that means and feels like, the vulnerability.
Right. There is nothing more vulnerable than performing arts.
Oh, yeah.
And putting it all out there, because you don't know how people are going to
Yeah.
respond. And well,
it's
I
like
totally
an internal
agree.
and external connection. If you're going to connect externally, you better be damn sure you're connected internally.
That's right.
Because it will not translate.
Oh, no.
It won't come
and you'll
5
see
feet
it
from out of
immediately.
you.
Yeah.
Nobody gets it.
Yeah.
When if I'm sitting here, we're having a conversation. If you're not feeling what I'm saying, I know it immediately.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now imagine that in front of 500 people.
Right. Yeah.
It's a little bit daunting.
Right.
But it's something that I love.
Well, and it's why probably when you get up to deliver a keynote, I mean, you've got that skill set. You've done so much work, historically, years past, that you don't even realize you have in the bag. I mean, people are like, oh my gosh. And you're like, I was just doing what I was doing.
They get so mad. What I say?
Yeah.
I was just, I felt like, oh my gosh, I got to go tell you, I was starstruck that day. I mean, that is how well you impacted the room.
Thank you.
And so that's what I feel like you're doing for Waco.
I am trying my level best.
And you've been doing it for a long time.
It's crazy. Like, I'm a native Wacoan, born and raised here, Conley High graduate. I left on the first thing smoking because bye. I did not see myself here in the year of our Lord, 1994.
Right.
So I left.
Right. Like most Gen Xers do.
Yeah, we were out of here.
See it in the rearview mirror.
And been back here. We moved back in 2015. My husband and I, my 2 sons. And I got to work. I mean, I started working for City Center Waco, so I was doing downtown development, and got re-engaged in my community, and it was a really active, unusual time for our city.
Kind of started getting, at that time, it was like, okay, the synergy started again.
I think it kind of got kicked off about 13, 14 when downtown really started beginning to revitalize. And then the dominoes kept falling, and we really were leaning into who we were destined to be.
It's taken 10 Yes, 10 years. But here we are.
Mm-hmm.
More and more and more and more.
Listen, we mentioned the other day, I was talking with the board of the Rappaport Foundation. They wanted to hear more about the downtown plan.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, there's been some iteration of a downtown plan at Waco City Hall for 7 decades.
Oh,
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, even with my mama, my mother was an incredible vision caster.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. Even, no matter how forward thinking she was. And I mean, she would say things like, the moment we actualize the assets that we have, our river, our downtown placement, the synergy of the tourism, our placement in the state, we will really be the Waco that we are intended to be.
Yes.
I mean, tourism and economic development were the things that she was most connected to, in addition to community building, because we can't do this without realizing that we have to do it together. But it wasn't time then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because we can cast vision all day.
I know.
But if it's not time, it's not time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
And you really had to have, I think, some of those key, like you're saying, the key people who were going to I'm going to plant down. Like, I am a visionary person. We could have moved anywhere.
Sure.
Could have gone and been a part, but there was something about people who wanted to stay to work with, I'm not going to say raw material, but I'm going to say they were like, there's something here that we could do that could make a deeper impact than being like a little fish in a big pond in Houston or in Dallas, where everybody else of all your friends are going and getting huge paychecks.
Right.
But what impact at what?
Like what cost?
So I feel like there were some meaning makers who wanted to kind of plant down. Mm-hmm. And then it did require something of older generations to really get behind, because that's always the push-pull of innovation and the old guard and what was, and that's a rub. That's a rub.
It is, right?
I mean, it's nothing like a well-timed funeral. I mean,
something good to begin, something must end.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, and I say that tongue in cheek, but yes, you need both. You need the generations story.
Yes.
You need, but if you don't have their approval.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to use the word permission, but, then we wait.
Right.
And celebrate their life.
Yeah.
And move on.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
Because we're all Gen Xers, so I laugh all the time between being the bridge generation. There's a rapper, J. Cole, and he says it's a song, Middle Child, and he said, I'm little bro and big bro all at once.
There you go.
And because
interesting.
Because that's how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I know the ways of my parents and grandparents and the boom, because I had older parents, so my parents were boomers and old boomers.
Yeah.
And so then there's me, and then I'm looking at, the Z, my children, the Z's.
Right. Mm-hmm. I got a gap. I've got some
you got
millennial and a Z.
Me too.
Okay.
And that's interesting.
Me too.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And so it's like, because none of the processes are the same. And we, the feral children that we are.
We were. I don't know. Are y'all okay? I love those memes. Gen X, are y'all okay? Did anybody give you a hug?
We are not okay. But we're going to be all right, though.
We're going to be all right.
Listen, if the war pops off, please find you somebody who is in Generation X, because we will be okay.
Yes.
Please know. That is my word of advice for today. We are solutions-based, oriented. There will not lead. There will be no ambiguity and not knowing what to do. I'm not going to sit here and twiddle my thumbs.
Right.
There will
and
be
we're not scared.
No.
Exactly.
We're not scared.
It's either going to work or it's not, but we're going to
we'll
figure it out when we get
figure it out.
Yes.
We will figure it out.
It's all that hose water.
That's right.
You are that.
Oh my goodness. I love
all
that.
Hose water.
That's right. It was.
Throw us outside.
Don't come back till it's
we
night.
will figure it out.
But I think that's why but the glueness that we represent is why we are as advanced as we are right now. I think it's funny because on our council right now, we're 3 and 3. So I got two boomers. You have 3 Gen Xers and a millennial.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
fun.
Good.
Absolutely.
That's fun.
That's good because you have lots of
because you've
different
got an old boomer
people.
and a young one.
Ooh, yeah.
See,
lots of different.
Interesting.
It's very dynamic, and it helps us in how we make decisions.
I love that.
And it has been kind of that dynamic because this is my 4th term, and it's kind of been that dynamic. If it wasn't that even, I think we had a few more millennials at one point. When Dylan was mayor and when Kennard was on. But it's been that dynamic. And so you've had that kind of ability to
banter more?
Yeah.
And come up with solutions.
And see different processes from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Because, what Alice is prepared to do, it may not be the same thing that Darius is prepared to do. Or why he would do it that way.
Right.
And some of the things will surprise you because they're like this. The things that you would expect the pushback to be from Alice are not.
That's so interesting.
Well,
it's kind of like you talk about the processes of each person having a different way of doing things. And I think, when my Gen Zer, who's now 14, but like when he was learning math, it was a different way. Like I learned 2 + 2 is 4. He's like, but let's take it out and let's concept it and I thought, this is so complicated for my brain. That is a new way of even seeing numbers that would make me cry. But, he learned a different system. And then I could say, well, here's a shortcut because this is what we did when we were doing multiplication facts, and it was these little hacks that got you through the times table.
Right.
Really. And he was like, well, that would have been easy. I said, stick with your mama. Like, stick with me. Listen to mom. But we have different processes that the younger generation can learn from and vice versa.
Right.
What's been the most, like, you've been on city council since 2018. What has been the most rewarding part of, because you have seen Waco through a huge change and transition. None of this was here. I graduated Baylor in 99, 2000. It is not the same city.
No.
So
I graduated in 95.
We have so much gratitude for what the city council has been able to accomplish with different networks and coalitions. But what's the most rewarding part of your work?
Okay, so personally, being from here, knowing the history of, and I'm gonna say our commercial corridors in our ring neighborhoods. So what I'm saying is not necessarily the central business district downtown, but in East Waco, you had your Dallas, Clifton, Elm Avenue corridors were traditional commercial corridors.
Yeah.
So in South Waco, you've got LaSalle and the Circle and 12th Street, and that is the traditional commercial corridors. North Waco, you got 25th and those things. The reactivation of those commercial districts in our ring corridors is what is exciting to me. When I got back, one of the things was access. Access. We don't have access. We don't have access. We don't have access. Well, a lot of the problems were the partners weren't talking to each other, and so
partners meaning
the chambers weren't really communicating in a way that would be effective enough to actually bring solution to their members.
So you've got a lot of silos.
Everyone's.
You got everybody working.
Whole pun intended.
Yeah, right.
And so breaking down those silos, finding neutral tables to bring everyone, collective tables to bring everyone to find solutions and then activate.
Yeah.
Because again, we can all sit around a table, make plans, but if we're not doing anything with said plans,
and talking
that's
to each other
those 7
about
decades of city downtown developments that we keep.
Right.
But seeing the fact that a bank opened on Elm Avenue when there had not been a financial institution in East Waco since the 1930s.
TFNB. Yes.
Was huge.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there was not a bank-owned ATM in 76704.
Wow.
That is unreal.
Let me let that sink in for a minute.
That is unreal.
Because I'm talking about the only options that you had to get money in 76704 were the ones in the convenience store.
Payday loan, kind of,
and
check cashing.
That's right.
Yep.
And that was not any kind of,
Whoa.
and that didn't make sense to me.
No.
When 76704 has a multi-million-dollar bandwidth
Wow.
of assets.
Yes,
Wow.
it does.
So getting that bank opened was huge for me.
That is fantastic. I didn't realize that you did the push for that. And it is a beautiful...
that was me. I started publicly shaming the bankers a long time ago.
I mean, and
who's
David...
in? No, really.
Yeah, and David Littlewood over there.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful bank.
It is.
If people haven't been in over
The library's
so
been redone
the
too.
TV timeout. Fun facts.
The TV timeout. I love it.
When they moved into the first building, because it was about getting it open. So they moved into where Train Waco was in that space, which is now the African American Chamber, which is, if you haven't been, please go.
Yes.
When they got the space across the street, if you want to see a beautiful bathroom.
Oh, I know, right? It is.
Wow.
Lori Coleman.
Gorgeous.
Well, I've
Who's
been
Lori Coleman?
Lori Coleman is a interior designer that they use.
It's gorgeous.
And I went on their chamber open out business after hours. And they said, okay, you have to come. Gretchen said.
In the men's room too?
Yes, the men's. I've been in there too.
It's gorgeous.
It is so beautiful.
I took Dorothea Love, who's the vice president
So
there. She was like, you need to see the restaurants. And so I went in. I was like, wow. I told we're
That's good enough. I'm on that side of town.
seriously.
I know.
We're rebuilding. We're moving our welcome center for the city of Waco into the AC Marriott space.
I need to go see that
Yeah.
space too.
And so we're building, and we were talking in the Convention Visitor Bureau meeting the other day and talking about bathrooms. I said, y'all need to go see so you can get because we wanted, that is experiential. So when you go in for the people who are, coming to Waco for the first time and it needs to truly be Waco. So we wanted to.
And then Cambria over there.
Yes.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of Cambria.
So Cambria
AC
is
Marriott's over
AC Marriott's on this side.
Gotcha.
But I mean,
I've
the
heard
fact that you've got
Cambria's
three, it is.
Yes,
The
I've
Boulevard
heard it's
Steakhouse is
we need to go.
phenomenal.
And the
We haven't been
bridge,
yet.
the whole area over
Bridge
there.
Street Plaza
Bridge Street
is
Plaza is
Bridge Street.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
how do you not enjoy Waco's front porch? You've got an opportunity to again, we talked about history and telling stories. So in the Chisholm Trail crossing and how we're doing the things, that is absolutely how we got into Waco
That's
and
right.
integrated Waco.
Yes.
So let us reconnect those pieces to
Yes.
bring both east and west sides of the river
And one
together.
thing that I absolutely love that we haven't really, and I want to coming forward in the magazine, but all of the beautiful sidewalks and trails along the river.
Yes. Amazing.
I didn't realize they had connected. And so I really want to bring attention to that because you can go from the stadium.
From the east to the west?
It's all
Okay, it's connected now.
It's all connected.
Okay, good.
I mean,
I need to
everything.
quit going
It
to
is
these basketball tournaments so much.
Oh my
I feel
gosh!
like-
I mean, people, you can go all
I love
around
it.
the river now.
Well, in a minute, you'll be able to take it a little further and a little different because we did applied and were awarded a Rails to Trails program with the MKT Trail. So now will be able to go from. So as you come up through the river, if you go up at Waco Drive, you know how you can. You'll go under Waco Drive Bridge.
Okay.
Well, should you come up,
Yeah.
you can connect and go all the way to Golson. Because there's now the MKT Trail, there's a walking path that it's not open yet. We will open in a few, I think next month, officially, the ribbon cutting. But it's lit. It is.
Wow.
Yes.
You know, one of the coolest cities
my gosh.
that does.
Because we're trying to get all the things connected from TSTC.
Over
eventually
to the
there'll be
And
there'll be
okay, I know.
full east and west.
And we have got to get on a bicycle
Yeah.
And just, maybe you and I can do this. You want to?
Okay.
No,
what are we talking about? Look, what are we talking about? Look, wait.
I know.
Wait, I'm
yes.
nervous. Wait.
Well, wait. I mean,
Electric bike.
just an electric bike.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And just show people.
Oh, absolutely.
How easy it is.
It's a good idea.
Absolutely.
Because when I was the Dory Miller, oh my God, it is so
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
The
added water. Oh, and
It's
so from there you can walk and see Cambria. It's like down there, and then you can go. Anyway, I keep talking about these trails, but I'm absolutely in love with them. So people just don't know.
Just wait till the STEAM Center opens.
Yeah, okay, tell us. You
so
said
tell
this
us
is
more.
our
Tell
pet
us more.
project. This
Yes,
is, you
tell
said
us
this is
more.
my baby.
Okay.
Oh
so
my
tell
gosh.
us about it.
So 2018, right after I got elected, my son, that summer, I found this hip hop architecture camp in Dallas. And so
I'm break.
Yeah.
That hip hop architecture.
Correct. The NOMA, the National Organization of Minority Architects, had a summer program that was it was the hip hop architecture camp, because in hip hop culture, the music and everything is always about its environment. So why not be responsible for building it?
Fantastic. I've never heard of.
Makes sense to me.
That's
right?
awesome.
So so we took Drew to this camp. We drove to Dallas every weekend for 6 weeks. And they had it at the Dallas Teen Tech Center, which is in their community center, city's community center system. And I looked around, and it was sponsored by Best Buy, and they had the 3D printers and, the computer labs. I was like, we can do that.
Yeah.
And I said, so at the time, Wiley Stem was still city manager. And I said, well, we have not done a renovation of the Bledsoe Miller. It is the only community center that had not been renovated. So as we do that, I want to do it with a STEAM focus. I say STEAM because, again, arts is foundational for me. And you can't have a building named after Jules Bledsoe and there not be music in it. So that's kind of how the seed for the STEAM Center was born. As we evolve, the STEAM Center, I can't even stand it. I'm so excited. We had a conversation with all of our educational partners, so Baylor, MCC, TSDC, Waco ISD, La Vega, all of our school partners, to say, okay, how can we be of assistance? Because we're not a school, we're a city. This is a community project. What is it that we need to help you advance in academia? We asked our workforce partners, hey, technology is our future. Right. What is it that you need your workforce to look like in 5 to 10 years? And how can we then set curriculum that will help you? So that's how those partners came on. So Allergan, L3 Harris, Mars Wrigley, SpaceX, everybody said, well, how can we help?
Oh my God.
They're ready to step in and be a part. So we've got those partners ready. Been looking at curriculum from all over. We've been studying STEAM and STEM projects from everywhere. The United States Naval Academy came in.
Holy smokes. So is BRIC, the Baylor Research and Development, is it part of it?
So Baylor as a whole is a partner. So BRIC I'm sure there'll be connectivity with the BRIC, which is also in District I.
That is amazing.
That's beautiful. That space is insane.
And so those are the things. But like the Navy came in because of the Department of Defense. Conversations with the late Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson, who was a Wacoan, connected me with...
this is incredible.
It's deep. And that's how the conversation with the Navy came up. We met with the Naval Academy. They did a STEM camp this summer, and we had over 400, 500 kids.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy.
What?
It was great.
So,
and so then the STEAM Center will open next January. It'll be a full immersion lab. We're doing a full commercial kitchen.
Good.
We're doing computer labs, maker space.
Wow.
So who is in charge of, who is...
who's running these
who's
programs?
running this?
So we're going to contract independently with someone who will manage and lead, but it's a city facility.
Wow.
And from what I know, and in my works with Texas Municipal League and National League of Cities, there's not a city that does
doing this.
Awesome.
I'm like...
Yes to Waco.
I mean...
innovation.
Wow.
Love it.
Because I mean,
This is incredible.
The opportunities because access. If it's a word that you want to put down for Andrea, it's access. Everybody needs to have access.
Yeah.
Because I can't if there's a pathway for you to get there, then there's nothing that can stop you.
Right.
Yeah.
But I can't. Let's not hinder your access.
Yeah.
And the vision.
Yeah.
Access and vision.
Yeah.
Oh
There's a
my
whole
gosh.
I know you're a person of faith, so I'm going to bring in
Come on.
but some, the book of Isaiah talks about removing the obstacles. And he just keeps saying, remove the obstacles from my people, remove the obstacles. And I've just thought so much in our work and in city work, I'm sure you're just looking and going, there's a boulder. Like, it's going to take us generations to go around it. Or we can just remove the boulder.
Let's just move it.
Let's just move it. Let's blow up the rock, make it a pretty gravel walkway and walk over it.
Come on.
Or plow through it. But yeah, that's what you're doing with
and
the
or
STEAM
tell them
center.
to move mountain.
Right. How many people got to die trying to push that?
Come on,
push it.
Right.
But yeah, so I think that we can change the trajectory of our future generations because we are entrenched with poverty at a rate that we shouldn't be.
That's right.
Our community is poorer than it needs to be.
Right.
We look at our budget numbers and look at the state and look at there is no reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, so how do we change that?
Yes. Yeah.
And we change that by offering opportunity because it's not going to be solved on a field.
Right.
Or it's not going to be solved in that way. So let me offer you an opportunity to do something outside of school that could spur or foster a little spark of something that says, okay, so we're going to do this with robotics,
Yeah.
We're going to do this with coding, These chemicals do what? And I can do this with what? And down the street.
And that's awesome. And we have MCC
and
we have TSTC right here that they can go to.
Perfect partners.
So good.
Affordable partners. That it is not
giving
a hard
people
climb.
money.
It is not
to
a
come.
That's right. It is
and
not
they
a hard
are giving
climb.
jobs
That's
right after they leave.
That's a part of TSCC's model.
I know.
Yeah.
Which is just it is an incredible model.
When I tell you, it has been a pleasure to work with Beth Wooten and Worksite, and it has been a pleasure to work with Jonette McCown and Frank Graves and at MCC. It's just and the folks at Baylor and Dr. Livingstone and Jeremy Vickers and all those folks because they see what we're doing and they understand that if we're successful, they're successful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so that's wonderful, exciting, and all these things. Yeah. So housing here in Waco, and we're bringing all these jobs here to Waco. I see new housing coming, which is amazing. Finally, we have some affordable housing communities coming. But how are we keeping up? Are you seeing that? How are we keeping up with that?
We're about 5,000 units short of what we need. 4,000 to 5,000 units short of what we need.
Well, Andrea, we need 29 of them with our Lovely Village project. I'll just go ahead and put it up there.
Hey, you have not because you asked not.
We're going to start with 4 units, but we'll just keep chipping away at that.
Waco is growing to just growing in leaps and bounds, and we have so many new businesses opening, but I keep hearing we can't keep people employed because it's this push and pull.
That's right. We the city we're not housing developers, but we know that there's some things that we have to do. So we have some projects locally as far as our infill, how we can take city-owned properties and develop them. And so that's what we're working on as far as us. We are not in the business historically of incentivizing housing.
Okay.
That's not
your job.
It's not typical.
Okay.
Not that it doesn't happen, but it is not typical. But there are organizations that are working to get especially senior facilities, especially
I know.
veteran-based,
and vulnerable populations. Women,
populations.
single women,
That's right.
women of color with children.
That's right.
That makes up a
That's
majority of our
And
poverty
and
rate.
how the housing authority are making
Yes,
positive
they
changes
are.
to our
They're doing
housing
great.
development
Yes,
sites and the
it's
changes
awesome.
with Estella Maxey or Melody
Yes.
Grove and Kate Ross and South Terrace. I mean, those things that are happening
Yes.
to change, the new bills for seniors, the new bills for veterans. I mean, those are the things that are happening. And then, you've got I got 280 acres in South Waco. Just waiting.
For someone to do something with it.
That is in the city. I mean, because like I love we love everybody.
Yeah.
I need rooftops to go in that'll affect our internal school districts.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's how
Yeah.
we advance our community.
Yes.
I mean, because my responsibility is
Yeah.
this community.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to do all my due diligence to see how we can advance and increase the tax base for Waco ISD, for the city of Waco. I mean, for the, the internal parts of, because we
infrastructure for that.
We touch several ISDs, so don't think we don't. And so we are partners and responsible and have great relationships with all of it. It's 18 ISDs in McLennan County.
Yeah.
And
it's a lot.
It's a lot.
For our town our size.
Because for me, I have Waco ISD, I have La Vega, I've got Rappaport, I've got
Conley.
No. It's out of the ETJ.
Oh.
Well, I guess technically, if you have parents who live at TSTC.
Yeah.
Technically.
Okay.
Because TSTC is mine.
Okay.
And
Bosqueville?
No.
No.
That's just but that's district. It's not mine. It's District 5.
Mm-hmm.
But and so those are the things that we have to kind of be mindful of.
Yeah.
But when the businesses come, we want them to come and build that will increase the tax base for Waco ISD.
Yeah.
That's the only way we're going to advance and make our school districts better.
Yeah.
And and that's not shade to any of the other ISDs. I'm just saying that if we're gonna better what we need to be better, if everybody's gonna be better, then we got to better everybody.
Yes.
So let me ask you, what are some of your, besides the STEM?
Yeah.
What are some of your other hopes and dreams for the future, personally and city-wise?
Let's see. Advancing attainable housing is the thing because, housing affordability is such a squishy term. Better jobs here. I want our median income to increase. I need it to be at least a state average.
Which is what?
State average median income is at this point.
I know. I guess it differs per if you're a.
I want to say it's 58.
Yeah,
but
as
I can
an
be
average.
Yeah, but we're at like 42 or something.
Okay,
I mean, it's not. And if I'm wrong, don't
sure.
shoot
We're
the
not.
messenger.
We're just. I'm just exploring.
My phone is over there.
We cannot. Yes,
but it's that kind of gap.
Okay,
and so I want us to at least be on state average.
Yes.
Okay. I think that the how we advance our life opportunities here. So as we develop our areas, and it's not just downtown. And I know some people get hung up on, well, y'all just doing stuff in downtown. Well, I mean, Waco's not that big.
It's not. And everything that's done here impacts.
That's right. And so the reach out is, because if I put things on the river, then that brings that's the regional draw. So I'm talking to the people in the counties that are in our Heart of Texas Council, the 6 that are involved, they're coming in. I mean, what happens if when the sports facility gets actualized, words, And so then we've got another concert venue. What happens when the Performing Arts Center gets built and we can finally have professional ballet in Waco?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wouldn't that be dreamy?
And the touring, the national tours of the Broadway shows. We don't have it. We can't do it.
Alvin Ailey can't stop in Waco because there's nowhere for them to be.
And we want them.
But artists would absolutely stop.
Yes, they would.
At a discounted rate
because
they're going to be
because
in Dallas.
they're already there.
Yeah.
We are the perfect place for them. They're already going down I-35.
So we have always been geographically
prime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say perfect, but
yes, we are.
Yeah,
I'll say it.
I'm just saying. So it is time for us for that to pick up, but think about how it'll feel to Wacoans to really see La Pia and the history behind that.
Yes, right on the banks.
How how we started, how this community started with the original our Waco Indians.
Yes, I know.
And how the tribes knew that this was where, as water sources, as places. This is where we build so we can grow. When we talk about Sandtown, we talk about Frogtown, and we talk about all the things and 2nd Street and Calle Dos and all the things that built our community historically. But we're seeing those stories told in real time because now someone's actively telling them.
Yes. To everyone.
The impact the Jewish community had, the impact that before urban renewal, when you're looking at where the footprint of the convention center, where all that commercial corridor was right there, you had Black-owned businesses, Hispanic-owned businesses, Asian-owned businesses right then in the height of the turn of the century.
6 Shooter Junction. You
Uh-huh.
also had the commercial sex industry
You
thriving.
sure did.
And so much of what those women paid in taxes with their bodies built our sidewalks.
Exactly, they did.
Yeah, and we got to tell it.
And that's the stories that have to be told.
That's
and
right.
so once we advance and grow our downtown in the Riverwalk in those stories and have it in a way that, your family can come down and they're going to see, either the stone history placement and read the marker or look at the digital touch screen and we'll be able to see and or hear the historic tellings.
I didn't know is that part of the new downtown development? Okay, wonderful. I didn't know that was part of it when
or maybe see a baseball game.
I would really think that would be wonderful.
Be amazing.
Too.
Yes. Bring some pro baseball up in here.
I mean,
why not?
Yeah,
something.
Let's do it.
A little something, something.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So those are the things, and I got tickled because seeing Waco be the city that it's supposed to be. I travel a lot, and so I love going to nice dinners and rooftops and having tea and doing the things that you wouldn't do here. But the fact that now I can do that here,
isn't it? It is grown. Like there's so many options.
There's always something to do.
It's always something to do.
I tell my daughter who is in New York and she grew up here.
Yeah.
And she's 26 now. And I'm like, okay, when you come home, there's so many different places we can go. No, there is so many places.
So I have my god sister is from here. She's 10 years older than me. And so I took a picture. I was at the Red Herring, and I said, tell me where. I said, where am I?
Oh, what'd she say?
I said, where do you think I am?
I want to know what she said.
And she was like, you in DC? I said, no.
Shout out to Red Herring Hotel Herringbone.
And so I told Corey, I said, no, I'm in Waco. She said, shut up. And I was like, no, for real. And so that's what it is. And I get such a kick out of that. I mean, even when I was doing Main Street, when I got back, and Waco was building its trajectory, I had a conversation with the man who was the night mayor of Amsterdam.
Okay.
Because
Wow.
they have
that involved.
That's what.
but they have daytime mayors and nighttime mayors for their nightlife and the engagement. And he was talking about Waco we were in Austin. He was talking about Waco being on his bucket list, just because of the way we were taking on the newness of our community and building and placemaking. Because I think one of the things that I have seen in evidence in what you do and how you tell your stories in the Wacoan and what you do with Lovely Village and all the things is that there is place for, you can always find your village here. There is a place for you here.
Yes, most definitely.
That I think is Waco's magic.
Yes. Yeah.
It really is. It really is. You're right. You're right.
You know, so I mean, you can always find your people here.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Well, big fans, and you've been a pioneer. But I said right before we came in off the air, what's so interesting about you, and you mentioned your background in the performing arts, but I think part of the way that the arts informs thinking is that when you're looking at systems that need to be changed, creatives look at it out of the box. And so just like you, because I was like, so is your background in editing? Is your background? And you were like, no, I am an entrepreneur. I have a good eye, but I've had to kind of learn things. So you have a different angle when you put together a magazine. And that's kind of the beauty of it with the things. And you're also you're emboldened because I think your creativity doesn't scare you. So it's like, I can see how this could happen.
It's a performance.
Let's go ask for it. Let's experiment.
All you can tell me is no.
Yeah.
I know.
And be sure to pick up a copy of your Wacoan or go to wacoan.com.
Together, let's celebrate the strength, the grace, and the undeniable impact of the women who make our community great.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.